The moment the tomb was opened, behind the golden door is death smiling. On November 26, 1922, in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, the morning sun shone from the east bank of the Nile River, illuminating the entrance of a tomb that had been sleeping for more than 3,000 years. A British archaeologist named Howard Carter was standing in front of the tomb door, holding a slightly trembling torch in his hand. It was not his first time to dig, but this time his heart beat faster than ever. What can you see? Yes, wonderful things. This famous dialogue, said by Carter to Lord Carnarvon behind him, recorded the moment when humans first met a cursed king, and the tomb was full of gold and mysterious statues so dazzling that it was suffocating. And under this beautiful appearance, an invisible hand quietly pushed open the door of death. Just 143 days after the door of the tomb was opened, Carnarvon, the noble who paid for the tomb digging, contracted tetanus after a minor cut and died of high fever, delirium and respiratory failure. That night, the whole of Cairo suddenly fell into darkness. The city lights went out, and it is said that Carnarvon's beloved dog died at the same time in his home in London. Is it a coincidence? Or is the Millennium Curse beginning to claim his life? Chapter 2. A list of deaths. The curse begins to claim lives, and the list is growing. After that day, an inexplicable death list quietly opened. Carnarvon's death was hyped by the media as Tutankhamun's revenge. The front page of the London Times read, "He opened the door to the sleeping god, and now the god wants him to pay the price." At first, people were only half believing and half doubting. But in the following years, archaeologists, photographers, museum staff, politicians, and even relatives who had entered the tomb and touched the pharaoh's relics died one after another, in bizarre ways. George Gould. A good friend of Carnarvon, he had a high fever after visiting the tomb and died within 2 weeks. The cause of death was similar to that of Carnarvon. Arthur Mace, an archaeological expert who assisted Carter, died of painful convulsions due to an unknown neurological disease. Richard Bastleford, one of the witnesses who saw the coffin opened, died suddenly in his own library in London without any warning. Even the workers who first opened the seal of the tomb died one after another within a few years, and the causes of death were mostly infection, drowning, missing, or madness and suicide. This is no longer accidental, but like a slowly starting ritual. Carter saw a line of broken and unclear hieroglyphs at the entrance of the tomb. The wings of death will cover the head of those who violate the sacred sleep. But the archaeological team did not record it, and even chose to bury it. Have they already noticed the danger, but remained silent because of fame and fortune? In the eyes of many mystics, this is not only a curse, but also a frequency oscillation of a higher dimension. When humans open the door to sleep with greed, the backlash they encounter is the response of the wisdom of the universe to blasphemy. We are not cursed, but reminded, sacred and inviolable. Chapter 3. Who is Tutankhamun? Why can't his soul rest in peace? This is a pharaoh who died at the age of 19. He did not conquer territory or build pyramids. The legacy he left behind was death and silence. So why does a young king who has almost no records in history have such a grand tomb and such a fierce curse? The answer to the question is hidden in the depths of the intersection of political betrayal, religious restoration, and spiritual struggle. Tutankhamun's father was the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten, the only king in history who overturned the belief in all gods and only believed in the sun god Aten. He weakened the power of the priest class and pushed the entire dynasty into a spiritual reform. Tutankhamun ascended the throne at the age of 9. As a young boy, he was forced to restore the old polytheistic belief, and this restoration was not his choice, but a political and religious liquidation carried out in his name by priests and nobles. His name was originally Tutankhamun, Tut-Ankh-Aten, meaning the creature of Aten. But he was renamed Tutankhamun, Tut-Ankh-Amun, meaning the creature of Amun. The change of a name represents the tearing of the soul's belonging. He was not killed, but split. Tutankhamun's skull had cracks, but CT scans did not show fatal trauma. His right leg was fractured and part of his body was burned. Some speculated that it was cremation, extremely unusual in Egypt. The mummy failed to be preserved and the whole body was glued together and rotted, which was the greatest disrespect to the pharaoh. He seemed to have been cut off from the return of his soul during his death. The curse may not have been set by him, but the cry of his soul that failed to return. Under the coating of the tomb murals, another covered scene was scanned. An older man performed a ritual in front of Tutankhamun. The man's face in the image was artificially erased. Scholars believe that this may be because the originally arranged soul return ceremony was tampered with or terminated. If a pharaoh cannot complete the reincarnation process of soul return, then his energy will remain in the world for a long time and become a living curse. In spiritual tradition, a name is a symbol of the frequency of the soul. When a person is forcibly renamed, deprived of his faith, and the ritual is terminated, his soul will be like a broken string, forever emitting disturbing frequencies. Tutankhamun is the unreciprocated spiritual string. He is not seeking revenge, but calling for help. Chapter 4. Who broke the sleeping seal? Carter, sowing a global spiritual shock. In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter opened a door that had been sleeping for more than 3,000 years in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. Behind that door was gold glory and an unstoppable whisper of darkness. When he opened the tomb passage and poked his head in with a candle for the first time, he said the words that were later recorded in history. "I saw wonderful things," but he didn't know that what he saw was not just treasure, it was a sealed soul, an existence whose reincarnation path was blocked. Just a few months after the tomb door was opened, Carter's sponsor, British aristocrat Lord Carnarvon, died mysteriously in Cairo. The wound was inflamed, the skin turned black, and he had a high fever and convulsions before he died. Even more bizarre is that at the moment of his death, the whole city of Cairo lost power. His dog, in the British manner, suddenly screamed wildly and then fell to the ground and died. At that time, the front page of the Times wrote, "Is it Tutankhamun taking revenge on those who disturbed his rest? Within 2 years, 8 people involved in the case died one after another, from Carnarvon's personal doctor, accompanying reporters, to photographers and experts who participated in the coffin opening. A total of more than 20 people died suddenly. Many of them died in strange ways. One person screamed wildly on the train and fell to the ground and died suddenly. One person fell from a height and repeatedly muttered he shouldn't wake up before his death. Another person disappeared for many years, and his body was eventually found in the Nile River, with his eyes pecked out by birds. Carter himself did not die, but his life also went dark from then on. In his later years, he was mentally ill and often dreamed of a golden mask staring at him at night. He wrote in his diary, "I often hear the curse echoing in the tomb. The wings of death will descend on all those who disturb the pharaoh's sleep." This sentence was later misrepresented as the curse inscription on the tomb door. But in fact, this sentence does not exist on the tomb door at all. It may not come from the stone tablet, but from the whisper in Carter's heart. Scientists believe that there may be ancient bacteria, fungi, and other biological factors in the tomb that cause infection. But what cannot be explained is why death always revolves around people who participate in rituals or enter the main tomb. What is more intriguing is the design of Tutankhamun's coffin does not match his identity level. The coffin seems to be temporarily modified, and the tomb was not originally built for him. The deepest golden mask, the original face shape, is not his own. In many mystical traditions, a tomb is not only a place for the body to reside, but also a relay station for the soul to project back to the universe. Anyone who enters such a space without spiritual permission will carry the broken frequency. Tutankhamun's tomb is not a treasure house, but an energy compression field. Once opened, it will release 3,000 years of unfinished energy. Carter is not a sinner, but he became a trigger. Chapter 5. Is that golden mask really just a decoration? You stare at the mask, and the mask also stares at you. Among all the treasures unearthed from Tutankhamun's tomb, that item is undoubtedly the most shocking. The Pharaoh mask made of pure gold. It weighs 10 kilograms, inlaid with lapis lazuli, turquoise, carnelian, agate, and glass, exuding a majesty that transcends time. But do you know? This is not a funerary ornament, it is a door. On the edge of the mask's neck, there is an inscription in extremely fine gold. I come from the light of the stars, and I return to the wings of truth. This is not a common Egyptian hieroglyph, nor has it appeared in other tombs. Some researchers even pointed out that it is more like evidence of the interstellar origin theory. Tutankhamun's family may be derived from an interstellar visitor bloodline. His father, Akhenaten, has an abnormally elongated skull, big eyes, and a non-human figure in the murals. This mystery has not been explained to this day. In many mysterious traditions, mask is a container of consciousness. It is not just to hide the identity, but a physical carrier of a divine projection. It is said that the production process of the golden mask has been blessed by 72 priests, and the metal used is not even from the earth. It may contain meteoric iron, meteoric silver, and other components. In other words, this is not a decoration. This is the home station for Tutankhamun's soul. Everyone who stares at this mask will trigger soul resonance. If your frequency doesn't match, it will become a mirror, reflecting your fear. In 1967, a French collection researcher tried to illegally transport some samples of Tutankhamun's relics. During the exhibition of Tutankhamun's golden mask, he secretly entered the exhibition hall at night and touched the inscription on the back of the mask. 3 days later, he died suddenly in his Paris apartment, his face distorted, his eyes wide, open, as if he saw something indescribable. Investigators found his last words at the scene. I saw an eye waking up from the mask. The mask is a mirror. Humans always think they can possess history and control souls, but those great dead souls may not be the buried past. They may be the future that has not yet woken up. The Tutankhamun mask is like a test. It asks your soul, are you ready to face the truth? Chapter 6. Does the curse really exist? It is the truth we don't want to face that is called a curse. Since Tutankhamun's tomb was opened, countless people have died or gone crazy, collectively known as the Pharaoh's curse. But today, we raise a bold question. Is the curse really just a supernatural legend or an energy mechanism beyond understanding? Frequency is not mysterious. It is science. American physicist Paul Davies once proposed that some relics may carry a high-dimensional energy information field. When a person's consciousness is too low or his motives are impure, he will be backfired by this information. This is just like the magnetic field resonance theory we understand today. Imagine that. A person is full of greed and blasphemy and breaks into a sacred area guarded by a 1,000-year consciousness that is not a curse, but a frequency mismatch. In 2021, a team of British Egyptologists analysed air samples from tombs and found that the space that had been closed for thousands of years contained high concentrations of mycotoxins and radioactive dust. These particles can easily invade the lungs, causing hallucinations, neurological disorders, and cardiac arrest. So, does this explain the curse? Or is it the scientific version of the curse? Commonalities of mysterious deaths. Let's review several of the dead. Howard Carter's assistant, insane, claimed to hear crying. A financial sponsor died screaming in a dream, said before his death, "I saw a door open." Photographer Harry Burton, abnormal exposure of photos, hundreds of negatives destroyed. What do they have in common? They all look directly at the spiritual objects in the mausoleum. The real curse may never be in the object itself. It comes from your attitude towards history, or blasphemy. Is it a desire to understand, or an intention to manipulate? The spiritual level, every relic of civilization is a channel of consciousness. To open it, not only a key is needed, but also the frequency of the heart needs to match. Chapter 7. Ancient Tomb. Is it a grave, or is it a door to another universe? In the traditional cognition of Western archaeology, the tomb is the endpoint, a symbol of dust to dust, earth to earth. But for the ancient Egyptians, the tomb was never a symbol of death, but the starting point of eternal life. Tutankhamun's tomb is a door to the universe. Its walls are painted with star maps, cosmic snakes, and solar boats. These are not decorations, but the operating interface of soul transition, the secret of the golden mask. Tutankhamun's mask is not only a symbol of the king, but also a symbol of a celestial body-crossing device. Research has found that the center of the mask is the golden ratio of Orion. The eyes on both sides are aimed at the direction where Sirius rises at that time. These stars are the navigation points for the Egyptians to the other side of the soul. In other words, every dead person in the consciousness of the ancient Egyptians must cross the stars to go to Han, Osiris realm. A high-dimensional existence. This raises a shocking question. Is what we think of as death actually the start-up process of entering another level of consciousness? Tutankhamun's curse is not to stop, but to protect. To protect those souls who are not ready to face the truth. Perhaps those who died from the curse were not killed, but opened the overclocking channel at the wrong frequency, resulting in a short circuit of the soul. Have you ever thought that every relic, every tomb, and every relic of ancient civilization is a save point for the history of the human soul? Perhaps we should not ask, is there a curse? But, am I ready to understand the truth in it? You are standing in front of the tomb door now. Imagine, you are holding a torch in your hand, standing at the entrance of Tutankhamun's tomb. The darkness is calling, the golden runes are flashing, your heart begins to heat up, and your soul begins to vibrate. The question is not whether you dare to go in, but are you ready to see? This journey is not just about a young pharaoh, but also about how we face death, mystery, consciousness, and our true nature that has been hidden by modern civilization for a long time. If you feel shocked, remember, you are not a lonely explorer. Write in the comment area, I am willing to see the truth, and join this awakening journey where spirituality and history intersect. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with the person in your life who resonates with mystery. See you in the next story.